गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी। कैसे आप लोग? इज एवरीबॉडी हैप्पी एज वेल एज सेफ एट योर होम्स? डियर स्टूडेंट्स, माई सेल्फ शिवप्रसाद सर फ्रॉम शिवराज सिंह चिल्ड्रन एकेडमी. Students, once again welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, today that is 10th September 2020. In today's 12th economics, in our today's 12th economics lecture, I am going to start the new chapter, that is your fourth chapter from the section of introductory microeconomics. The chapter's name is Government Budget and the Economy. Government Budget and the Economy. It is your chapter number 4, that is government budget and the economy. Students, over here in today's lecture, first we will discuss the concept of government budget and later on, if the time permits, we will discuss the objectives of government budget. If the possible, I would like to finish this question today itself, that is objectives of government budget. If not, then at least a few points of this question, that is objectives of government budget, we will definitely finish today. So let's start with this concept of government budget. Students, being commerce student, all of us, we are aware that February 1st, it is the date on which every year government presents its budget in Parliament. Now the question is, what is this government budget? Government budget, it is set of 2 years. First one, about the previous year, and the second set, it is about the coming accounting year. Coming accounting year means what? Under the heading budget, government presents in the parliament that how was the previous year, how was the government's performance in previous year, that is economic performance in the previous year, and what are the plans and the policies of the government regarding the next accounting year. So we can say that budget is the set of plans and policies, economic the policies. In budget, government presents its performance in the parliament about the previous year, plus about the coming year, the next accounting year. Government presents its plans and the policies in the parliament for the next accounting year. The plans and the policies which are mentioned by the government in the budget, they are called as budgetary policy or fiscal policy. When we talk about the budgetary policy or the fiscal policy, then it has two aspects. First one is revenue aspect, revenue, and the second one is expenditure aspect. Or we can say that in the plans and the policies of the government budget, government they classified its budget in two parts, that is a projected revenue and the projected expenditure, or we can say that planned revenue and the planned expenditure for the next accounting year. When I am saying that the projected revenue, it means what? Over here I am talking about the receipts of the government. My dear students, since government is not doing any business, government is not a businessman, so that's why income or the profit, this word is not used over here. Instead of using income or the profit, we call it revenue. That is, in the budget, government has planned that like this, from these many sectors, from these many sources, from these ways, we will receive this much revenue and about the projected expenditure. Government plans that these are the sectors, these are the areas, these are the fields where the government will go for the public expenditure. Normally what happens in case of the developing countries or underdeveloped countries, their revenue is short and the planned expenditure is more. Their planned expenditure is more, and the planned revenue means whatever they have planned that in the accounting year we will get this much revenue. So that revenue falls short and the planned expenditure is more as compared to their planned revenue. So now the question is how this planned expenditure will be incurred. So for that you must have heard about IMF, International Monetary Fund, or World Bank. So whatever is deficit over here, that will be obtained from IMF or World Bank. So like this, government incurs their expenditure. So with this much discussion, I am sure that the concept of government budget, it is clear to all of you. I am going to summarize once again that what we discussed till now. Dear students, 1st of February is well-known date in India. Why I am saying well-known date in India? Because on 1st February, government present its budget in the parliament for approval. The financial performance of the government over the past 1 year and the financial programs and the policies of the government for the next year is presented for approval in the parliament. This I discuss with you. And in the next accounting year, what are their plans and the policies? These plans and policies are called as budgetary policy or fiscal policies of the government. Then I discuss with you about the aspects of the government budget, that is revenue and expenditure. Revenue in the sense the receipts, the money which government is going to receive from the citizens, from the businessmen, from the natives, and how they are going to spend it. So I told you that normally it happens that planned revenue fall short as compared to planned expenditure. Then the deficit, the money required for the public expenditure is obtained from foreign sources by the government, either by IMF, International Monetary Fund, or World Bank. So, concept of government budget is clear to all of you. Now, we are going to discuss the objectives of the budget. Let me rub this first. objectives of government budget Yes, dear students, attend here please. As I told you earlier that in today's lecture we are going to discuss the government budget, the meaning of government budget, the concept of government budget, as well as objectives of government budget. So there are number of objectives of government budget. Out of those objectives, whatever will be the possible today, as the time permits, we will discuss either 2 objectives or 3 objectives, and whatever will be remaining, the remaining objectives I will cover in the next lecture. Okay, so shall we start? Okay, let's start. The first one is, which we are going to discuss, GDP growth. GDP growth. GDP growth. Students, meaning of GDP you know very well. So the objectives of government, GDP growth is the central objectives of government. Budgetary policy is achieved in 2 ways: by making public investment expenditure and inducing the private businessmen. Dear students, GDP growth, it is a central objective, or we can say that a main objective of the government, that there must be GDP growth. By the way, if you are aware, if you are listening news and watching newspapers, then you must be knowing that nowadays, due to this pandemic, COVID-19, India's GDP, it is in minus. That's another thing. But as the objectives of the government budget, government plans in budget that there must be the continuous growth of GDP. For that, for growth in the GDP, government incurs public expenditure. Public expenditure plus government induces the private sector for making investment. Dear students, over here I have written 2 things. First one, public expenditure. Government incurs public expenditure plus government induces the private sector for making investment in different sectors. Now the question is, why government is inducing public sector, and what about this public expenditure? Students, As you know very well that private sector, they are interested in such areas, such zones, or we can say such businesses, such industries which are more profitable. Means what? That private sector is not interested in such areas, such zones which are underdeveloped, where basic infrastructure is not available. So the question is that how there can be balanced economic development. So such zones, such areas, such underdeveloped areas, backward areas, or such field, such industries, or such services where the private sector is not interested. For that, government incurs expenditure, means government makes investment in that. Because government's target is balanced development as well as equal distribution of income and wealth. But as I told you that everything alone government cannot do. That's why government induces the private sector also to make investments, especially for anchoring, for encouraging, for removing, or we can say that for decreasing the level of unemployment as well as poverty in our nation. So that's why many a times government himself ask the private sector that they tell us your needs, your requirements, we will provide it in that underdeveloped area. Say for example, transport facilities, water facility, and main is electricity facility. Means here I am talking about the infrastructure. Government encourages the private sector that come on, we will work together, we will provide you the infrastructure and you make that investment, you set up your industries in these areas for balanced regional development, for reducing the problem of poverty, unemployment, etc. Means social problems. So my dear students, I think this first objective, that is GDP growth, is means clear to all of you and you are understanding it. Now, the second and last point which we are going to discuss today. Why I am saying last point? The other points, the other remaining objectives will be discussed in the next lecture. The second one which we are going to discuss is allocation of the resources. Allocation of resources in a manner such that there is a balance between goals of the profit maximization and social welfare. Balance Over here, we are talking about the second objective, that is allocation. Allocation of resources. Allocation of resources. Allocation of resources. Dear students, you know that resources, allocation of resources, the word meaning of this, to allocate means to allot, to distribute the resources. Natural resources as well as man-made resources. So, while allotting the resources, what government keeps in mind, or on which base, on which ground the government allocates the resources of the nation. Government allocates the resources of the nation on the basis of that maximization of profit as well as social welfare. These two things government keeps in mind, that if we are allocating our resource in such a field, in such an area, then there should not be wastage of resource. Means that resource should give us the maximum return, as well as it must be in the interest of the nation, social interest. Say for example, the production of alcohol, the production of cigarettes, means such products which are hazardous to us, which are injurious to health, such products which are not demanded or desired by all the citizens of the India, then government, while allocating the resources to such type of products, they will limit the resource. Means government will allocate resources to such products in a limited quantity, because they are less desirable by the society. As a mass, I am saying, no doubt there are groups in the society who consume such products, but I am talking about as a mass, as a whole. So, government keeps in mind both the things, that it should give us maximum return, there should not be wastage of resources, as well as social welfare, means it should be in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the public. So dear students, I would like to stop over here. Today in this lecture we discussed the concept of budget. I started your fourth chapter. In that we discussed the concept of budget and objectives of budget, government budget. In that first two objectives I finished. The other objectives will be discussed in the next lecture. Okay. Thank you very much for kind cooperation. That's all for the day. Enjoy yourself.